I'm Dean Newland, and welcome to Leadovation. Reimagine, facilitate, flourish. This podcast is dedicated to the art and science of innovative leadership. Through insightful interviews with industry experts, I bring you cutting-edge strategies and experiences of innovative leadership, helping you think differently, act strategically, and achieve remarkable results. Join me as I provide insights and tools that empower you to make smarter decisions, forge meaningful relationships. Welcome to Leadovation. What if your AI assistant didn't just remember your meetings, but it helped you win clients, build presentations, and achieve your business goals? Well, today I'm joined by Artem Koren, co-founder of Sembly.ai, for a conversation about the next generation of artificial intelligence, why leaders still need to think for themselves, and how AI is reshaping the future of work. It's one of the most thought-provoking conversations I've had about AI in a long time. So, Artem, it's great to have you on the show, and I don't think I get very many opportunities after 300 and some odd episodes that a guest on my show is actually represents a company that we've been a customer of for a long time. I mean, we know you guys. We use you every day and love it. And so without getting too far down the promotional aspect of what you guys are all about, I'm going to let you kind of start us off with, can you tell us a little bit more about your organization, what you do, so that those who don't know about what you're all about, they do now?
Sure. Thank you for having me on.
You bet.
So as a co-founder and chief product officer of Sembly.ai, I very much appreciate you being a customer and loving the product even more.
Yes,
so.
I do.
Yeah, what we do. So we are one of the founding companies in the meeting intelligence domain. So we're one of the early starters. We started in 2019. When not very many companies were thinking about AI generally or meeting intelligence at all, didn't really exist as a segment. And we built a product we got together with my co-founder, Gil McCleff, and we built a product that we thought could bring a lot of value insofar as technology being able to understand what goes on in people's meetings and otherwise recorded conversations. And that was the main vector. And from there, everything started. Early days, it was things like transcript search and note taking. And then it evolved from there to integrating with third-party applications, applying AI in exceptional ways, detecting all sorts of things in your meetings, and so on. And we're pushing more and more the boundary of what you can actually do once you have the context of the conversations in your knowledge space that you can apply AI over.
Okay, so obviously this is a very easy process to use when you are doing a WebEx or a Zoom or whatever type of virtual meeting. But how does one use your system, your software in a live setting?
A few ways. So one way is you can just plop your phone down. So there's a mobile app. You can hit record in the app, and just put it on the table in front of you, and it will listen to the conversation happening. You can also do something like record from browser. So there's like a browser-based microphone recording that you can turn on. And all of that works, but the caveat is that it's never as good or as clear as in a meeting environment like this.
Sure.
So the good news is that AI is getting better and better at dismissing all the irrelevant, noisy bits. But still, if you want the cleanest data, that happens in online conversations like Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, etc.
So when you guys came up with this, were you passionate about creating better meetings, or were you software developers looking for something really cool to develop?
So certainly not the former. We were not passionate about creating better meetings. In fact, in a strange way, quite the opposite. We put a lot of onus on the idea that we don't want you to change how you do your meetings or otherwise how you live your life. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life or do your work. You should
Okay.
work the way you want to and the way you need to, because I have a lot of appreciation for the fact that environments are different, cultures are different, teams are different, dynamics are different,
Mm,
workflows are different. You can never really assume anything uh, as far as you have to do it this particular way. And it's different across different geographies. It's different across different kinds of companies, different sizes of companies. There's a million parameters and they all shuffle into their own cadence of operation. And so one of the founding concepts in the product was always that we're a fly on the wall. We don't try to interfere or
mm,
dictate or prescribe the way that you do your work. We don't want you to really think about the fact that Assembly is hanging out with you in your meeting. You should think of Assembly as just an analyst that drops in and just sits there and pays close attention and lets you work through the things you're working through. So we never wanted to change the meeting structure in your team. Why we started, yeah, we thought the tech was really cool. This is actually my second go at AI technology. I had another startup called Nusana maybe about 15, 16 years ago when we tried to apply AI to cancer biopsy detection. That was a little
mm,
bit early. I got a little lucky because I got to work with one of the PhD students who worked with Jan LeCun, who was at NYU at the time, and I was around NYU. So we had the early days of image recognition. Unfortunately, too early, didn't really get far with that one. But with my second go on this, we thought that the technology was right. The problem domain was very value rich. It was one of those situations where we knew that if we could do a good job of tapping into this knowledge domain of meetings and what teams talk about, there is no shortage of the value that could bring. And interestingly, we didn't know how well received this would be as a concept for a new idea or a new startup. But literally within 2 to 3 months of us kicking off, we had people knocking at the door saying, "This is a fantastic idea, and how do I get involved?"
hmm. Fantastic. So, how is it going now? Since you were somewhat of an early on the scene of meeting, recording of, and creating notes, and using AI, obviously, to be able to summarize it. A lot of others have gotten in this space, I'm assuming. How are you doing now, and what differentiates you from what you might call your competition?
We're doing very well. We're growing very rapidly, and we're innovating as rapidly as we have been always. Innovation is what I would call the core DNA of our company. And we've been very, very good at this. We're always frontier as far as what's available in product to the rest of the world. So as a user, you might have seen like we introduced something called Assembly, and this was almost 2 years ago. And this technology allowed you to engage with AI across your entire meeting library. This was unprecedented at that point, and also create documents with that. So you can go into Assembly and say things like, take a look at my conversations with this customer and create a sales proposal based on that. And we'll compile a really quality sales proposal or create a statement of work or create a project status report, whatever you want. So that was really unprecedented. Today, it's no longer as mind blowing, but we're
Hmm.
continuing to move forward. And today, we're really putting the piece of the technology that does something with your meeting data to produce something usable in hyperdrive. And we're actually in beta right now with a few invite only user groups, customers on a very new development. We're calling it Assembly 3.0. It's huge. It's something we've been working on for over a year now. And what this thing is, it's basically taking the concept of your meeting data is there to power your business value very, very seriously. And so you mentioned there's more players in the space, and we recognize it too. We've recognized it before. And the further we go, the more we understand that meeting content is not a product unto itself. So meeting content is a data source to bigger, better things.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of products picked up on that idea as well. So you have HubSpot, you have Notion, all these products allow you now to do meeting note taking or whatever they call it. But
Right.
the idea is universal in the sense that if you have access to high quality meeting data, and there's a lot that goes into being able to do that, then you can generate some really impressive results. And so what we're betaing today is, you will be able to go into Assembly, and you'll essentially be able to tell it a goal that you have. So for example, let's say you're trying to sell to a customer, and historically, how would that go? Well, maybe you you gather some vanilla materials, or you custom put together a proposal, or you think, okay, I need to build a deck for this service that I'm providing, or whatever it is. And then you go into PowerPoint, or you go into Gamma, or you go into Claude, or whatever you go into to try to build that deck. And you're there and you're huffing and puffing. Yeah, it's much better than it was before. It's not going to take you days. Maybe it's going to take you a day, but it's still a lot of work. With what we're introducing in Assembly 3.0 is you'll be able to go in. You can say, okay, I want to build a presentation, the goal of which is for this customer to buy this product from me.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically takes care of the rest.
So in a sense, are you embedding agents, if you will, into the Assembly platform such that far less for upfront development of queues and so forth, and queries and questions for AI to be able to figure out? You've got some of that already embedded, is what I'm hearing you say, or you're hoping to get that with 3.0.
Yeah, so we have that already. It's there. It's being used, but by a very narrow set of customers today that we're just basically allowing to use it as a preview. And it's all agentic, of course. And it's really, you can think of it as Assembly now has a wing of what we're calling a artifact studio, where you can go in, you say, I want to build a presentation, and you give it the goal, and Assembly figures out the rest. Importantly, Assembly figures out things like branding and styling. When it delivers something to you, it's client ready. It's editable, like PowerPoint format or doc format, but it's branded the way you want. It can be branded to your company. It can be branded to the client. It can be branded in any other way. The Assembly derives the branding for you. Stylistically, visually, tonality is all very good and accurate for what you're trying to present. And also the content it generates and sources in its own, the style of the presentation, the arc of the presentation, all of that is taken care of for you. It pulls on the data sets available to you. So today, for example, Assembly integrates with your CRMs like Attio, HubSpot, Salesforce. It integrates with your knowledge bases like SharePoint, Notion, etc. It integrates with your project management systems, Asana, Jira, Monday, right? It does that today. With this new wing of capability from Assembly, it's going to be able to use that entire ecosystem, plus, of course, your meetings, which is so important. It's the juiciest, most accurate, most up-to-date data we have. And it can compile all of that, perform research on it, and then create an artifact that's going to blow your mind.
So I'm very interested in this. This is fascinating. So I'm going into my Assembly account right now. And of course, each one of these meetings that I have had in the past is identified by the person, or however my assistant creates that meeting. Now I'm getting into the details a little bit because I am a client. So I'm curious about what's coming, right? So I'm assuming that there must be some way to recategorize these meetings by virtue of the company by which they come from. Because I've got them from all over the place. It could be me talking to a friend on Zoom. It could be a client. It could be several different clients. So we have to be able to way to create almost like a database. Maybe it's the CRM that you're talking about, or Monday, that houses these meetings per the correct company by which the meeting takes place. So that's coming, you're saying.
Dean, I love it because you're prompting me to the next thing. So there's so I mentioned branding.
Yeah.
There's also a in Assembly 3 that we're introducing, there's a concept of what we're calling clients. So you can create a client, and then you can start to associate things to that client.
Okay.
And then when you're building things for the client, like an artifact or a document or an agreement or a contract or a project report, whatever it is, It's going to use the context of that client. And so you're going to have multiple clients across in your workspace that you can create. These are my clients. And when you create an artifact, you can say, I'm creating it for this client. And it's going to pull all that information for you.
I love it. Well, let me know when this comes live. I would be very curious about it. Philosophically, going into what you said earlier, that you're not trying to, in a sense, shape the meeting, but be more of a fly on the wall, I think is the words in which you said. Overall, since you're so involved with AI on so many different levels, do you feel like not just your particular product, but AI as a whole, philosophically now, is AI elevating dysfunctional cultures within organizations because the tool just naturally does that, or does it mirror the dysfunction that's already there?
Wow, great question, by the way. Both.
Okay, say why.
I think both. So, for one thing, so it definitely mirrors. It definitely mirrors because when you're interacting with AI, the better models are doing something like mirroring to you, which is they will silently use your vernacular and approach and phraseology to interact with you. That means they're starting to engage in your kinds of patterns of communication. And so if you have bad patterns, it's going to reflect those bad patterns right back at you, because that's how it assumes you think and speak and want to be addressed. Now you can try to overpower that. You can do all sorts of custom things to say, like, talk like this with me, like don't right. But that's all custom stuff that you need to invest into. But most companies don't do that today. It's hard to do that at scale, really. And so you're getting this mirroring effect where the model talks to you like you talk to it. It answers the questions you ask it. And it's like this kind of self-perpetuating thing. So if you have baddies of different sorts in the way that your organization works or interacts, the AI will be part of that. So that's on the mirroring side. On the amplification side, there's also a problem there because we're starting to rely more and more on AI. And that's fantastic, except it has to be done with your sharp reasoning engaged. And it's a very, and I'm faulty on this as well. It's very easy to just let AI go and just don't even read what it gave you and just paste it back to an email or whatever it is you're doing. And eventually that's going to come to bite you. There's a lot of good things AI is doing. I don't mean to say this is it's only bad. Of course not. But those two negative aspects certainly exist.
I had this interesting experience about 2 weeks ago where I wanted to write something in its original form. I didn't want to use AI. I just wanted to come up with my own blog. I think it was a blog I was writing. And then the blog became about the struggle of what writing used to be, that there was a process of looking at a blank page, metaphorically speaking, and having to come up with your point of view and having to edit and re-edit. And it was a tussle. And eventually you create something and you might even be somewhat proud of it. Now AI can, just with a great set of prompts, create something pretty darn good. And I realized that part of the benefit for me as a human being was the struggle to find out what my point of view was versus something else, in this case, AI telling me what it was. And so, I don't know, I'm just philosophically throwing that out at you to see, are there ways in the future that you see AI, if we set it up that way, almost creating the environment where the struggle of coming up with our own ideas is included? It's almost like there is a personal development outcome that happens when you're facing that blank sheet of paper and you have to do it yourself. You know, that the individual, in this case, me, was a better thinker as a result of having to think on my own, right? What's your thoughts on any of this?
When we used to sit down, we had to start with a perspective. Either that's your own perspective, or you've researched and you borrowed someone's who you think their perspective is good. But you start with a perspective and then you go. And AI offers you an option not to have perspective.
Yes.
And it's a very lucrative option if you're not feeling like biting into a little bit of struggle. And struggle is what creates progress. I deeply believe that. And so you kind of have a choice. You can just execute, and allow AI to do the heavy lifting, or you can progress and grow, but that requires a bit of struggle. I am a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a pessimist. I'd like to think I'm a realist in terms of this, but my personal sense is that what you're describing will be available. AIs that help you with a little bit to struggle so you can be an active participant in the key decisions and the key perspectives that get put in. That will be there, but I don't think that's the mass market.
I don't think so either. Yeah. And I am totally calling myself out. I know how much productivity our company and myself alone has been able to enjoy because AI has made the struggle virtually disappear. And I can create a report, a PowerPoint, set up some really good executive summaries in a fraction of the time than I used to before. I mean, it's unbelievable. And there's a part of me that is a little guilty about it. There's a part of me like going like, God damn it, that was so easy. But I begin to, and then I have to look through it and go like, yeah, but is that really me? Would I really say it that way? Is that really my idea? Oh, but that's a pretty good idea. Oh, and I got a meeting in 10 minutes. I might as well just go with it, right? You fall into it. I want to go back to the meeting conversation for a second. You said that you're pretty agnostic when it comes to your relationship with those people in the meeting. You're just there as a fly in the wall. Do you see a time where either your company or other companies could set up a situation where we say, okay, this is the Acme company, and this is how we have decided to run meetings. We have guiding principles. We've given a kind of a template for how the person who's running the meeting should run it. We have behaviors of those who are supposed to be in the meeting and how they're supposed to behave. All that's laid up. So we create that roadmap for what we call as a really good meeting, that we could then overlay that into the meeting notes. And then AI could say, this is where you followed your principle and this is where you didn't. This is where the facilitator did a phenomenal job calling out the people in the room or whatever to be able to get engagement. And this is when they missed the opportunity. Do you see a time where we could add that sort of feedback loop created by the culture of the company? Got it. Because each company, each culture may have a different way in which to run meetings. And I can respect that. What's your thought? Are we going to see that at some point?
You can already do this today. So for companies who want to invest some resource on understanding how well their meetings match what they intend to happen in meetings, they can already do that today. So for example, this year we introduced a feature in Assembly called custom templates, which is basically you can create a custom set of prompts for any meeting, and then you can apply that template to any meeting you have. So in this case, you can, for example, spec out, how you see like the perfect meeting flow. Then you copy paste that into ChatGPT and say, create, 5 or 6 or whatever, 7 prompts that given a meeting would be able to answer if this meeting met our meeting flow criteria. And then you take those 5, 6, 7 prompts and you just paste them into the template in Assembly. And then after each meeting, you apply the template and you can call that template, meeting, I don't know, quality template or something. And then it will tell you right away, how well that all went. You can automatically pipe all those results to Google Drive or what have you, and you can have mass assessments of how well your meetings are going. So in terms of technology, that's already here. I think it's just a question of companies who want to spend time doing this.
I hear you. So where I have to know, I'm in Assembly. Where is it? In the
So if
back of
you're,
the house here. I see my task collections, bookmarks,
yes.
automations.
So the first question is, what plan are you on? So you gotta
Oh
have,
God.
you
Assembly
gotta have,
professional.
okay, professional. Okay, you gotta upgrade. So first of all, we need to get you upgraded.
All right, we'll do that. I don't want to take a bunch of times having
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go behind the scenes, but I'm curious now.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're kind of on our individual user plan.
Yeah.
This feature comes in the plan that's intended for teams. So,
Understood.
yeah. So you got,
Yeah,
we have to make money
we'll play
somehow.
around
We have
with
to
it
make money
afterwards.
somehow.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Exactly. And so, what do you see happening for your organization, like in the next, I don't know, I suppose we can't say 10 years because that's too far out, but maybe in the next year or two. What are your plans?
I think we'll shift in a big way. I think meeting intelligence will be always a part of what we do. And by the way, as a user, all of our users will retain all the functionality and features you guys have today. So we're keeping all of that. None of that is going away or changing in any significant way, except maybe kind of the visuals will zhuzh those up. So all that stays. But as we go forward, the focus will be more and more on getting to your actual business goal more quickly with fewer steps. So if you think about it, there's a lot of things we do because we think, okay, that's something you need to do because that's one of the steps along the way. But ultimately, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to, let's say, sell my product, or I'm trying to create it, close a new customer, or maybe I'm trying to, um, position myself better in the market, or maybe I'm trying to improve how my what's the quality of my delivery to my clients, whatever it is, right? We have actual business goals. And you know what the magic is that historically those business goals were really the subject matter of the C-suite or
Right.
whoever the leadership in companies is. And a long time ago, when I was just a little Artem, I used to do something called project portfolio management. And project portfolio management is a consulting methodology that big companies take on when they hire super expensive consultants to create a process, technology, and method around translating the C-suite goals into actionable initiatives that flow all the way down into the bottom layers of the execution organization. It's very, very difficult. Think about like in the army, right? Let's say the general says, we want to whatever take over country X. That could never happen, of course, not in the United States. But anyway, take over country X, and that has to then translate down into tens of thousands of different kinds of army, navy, air force, different units, different missions, right? That's a very difficult process. So we used to do that for organizations, not in an army context, but in a business context. But what AI now lets you do, and this is kind of magic, it lets you bring that C-suite goal orientation to everyone in your org, because with AI, as long as they can voice the goal and it's aligned with what the C-suite wants, the AI can then pick it up and do the actionable, do the tactical. So as we go forward with Assembly, we want to continue to bridge that gap. We want to continue to make sure that you are very clear on your goals. You know what the company needs. You know what the business needs to accomplish. Everything else in between, technology will take care of for you, and Assembly operationally will support you in the best way that it can.
So getting into the details a bit, I mean, because what I understand is just a fraction of what you guys are doing. But I can see where I do a lot of strategic planning and I work with executives. And so, okay, we're doing a strategic plan. You could record the whole conversation, you would get a lot of it, but there's going to be flip charts that will have outcomes, and maybe people's computers will have certain text that will be created. How easy is it to bring these other sources of data into this platform so that we can do what you just said?
Very easy. It's very easy. Bringing in data into our platform now is it's a solved problem, let's say. And so, for
Okay.
example, like Simply 3 that I mentioned, like it
Yep.
can take all different kinds of documents. It can take Notion, it can take everything, PDFs, PowerPoints, text, markdowns, whatever you have, it'll absorb it. And so just to give you an example, so kind of where we are today with the beta and where we'll be, let's say, a year or two from now. So today with the beta, what our beta customers are doing is they're going in and they're saying, okay, I have, this here's my generic product overview, and I really want this marketing agency to become our customer.
Hmm.
And create a presentation that will influence that. And so then today, Assembly 3 in beta will go and will create a presentation that takes the solution, but then casts it in specifics around this marketing agency. So it's going to, for example, use the marketing agency's branding in the presentation. It's going to say, you guys are really strong on St. Louis where you have this big customer. And if you use Assembly, you can do this. Like that's the presentation. It's mind-boggling. Like it's not something you could have done before. It takes things about the client and it weaves it into the storyline of the close. And so that's what's possible today. Fast forward a year or two, what I expect Assembly will be able to do, and that's the direction we're road mapping, is effectively before you even think that, okay, like I think I need to make a presentation, Assembly will figure out that you have this high value potential customer that's very aligned to your target customer profile. It's going to take a look at what your offering is. It's going to take a look at this customer. It's going to knock on you and say, hey, noticed you have this opportunity. Took the liberty of generating this killer presentation that pretty much will land this customer no matter what. Let me know if you want to make any changes or just download and send it like that.
Fantastic. This is just really exciting in terms of where things are heading, not just with your company, but in terms of AI as a whole. I have a new thing that I've been doing recently, Artem, which I probably stole from another podcaster, which is to ask each guest to come up with a question that they will then, I will hear, and then I'll ask the next guest that question. You don't know who the guest is. So then what this means is that I'm going to ask you a question from the former guest on this show. And the question that I believe that he asked was, what is one leadership trait that you would like leaders to no longer do, and why?
So a leadership trait that I think is bad, essentially.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot.
I know. What comes to your mind?
It's too many that I don't want to say them all. Like it's going to be. Let me pick something that I think is important. Panic.
Panic. Why did you choose panic?
Don't panic. It's there's a Mel Brooks movie. I forget which. Maybe Spaceballs, where there's a don't panic button. When
That
everything
sounds
is
like a Mel
exploding.
Brooks thing.
Yeah, it's like everything is exploding. There's just don't panic. Why? Because it's counterproductive. Because when your team is executing, and let's say something goes terribly wrong, and it does, and it has, and it will. So I think you have to start there. You have to start with acceptance that really bad things have happened, do happen, and will continue to happen. Really bad things. You as a leader create the vibe, right? Let's Gen Z this for a second. You create the vibe around how your organization deals with really bad things that no one expects. And there is a optimal way to deal with these things, which is assess the situation, stop the bleed, figure out what you do to prevent this thing from happening in the future, and implement those changes. That's it. And then if your team does a great job on quickly attacking that resolution, you congratulate the team strongly on their performance in the resolution. So, if you start off with, oh my, how did you, why would you ever stop it, right? Nothing. First of all, you're disheartening and demotivating your team. You are disrupting, you're creating a precedent for like a really bad psychological responses to things that will go wrong in the future, and they will. You're engendering this very bad feeling of nervousness and anxiety around what happens. It's just human psychology. It's like a dog, right? Like you can kind of, you have to train in a way. You have to show a dog like this is okay, this is not okay. Like otherwise it will become crazy and just like be, fearful or so. Your organization is you're kind of raising an organization like a child in a sense. And so you want to create like a child falls and like scrapes their knee. You can lose your mind and start yelling and screaming, or you can say, oh, that's fine, whatever. Like we'll just put some peroxide. You're fine. You're feeling good, right? Keep going. That child will be a lot healthier and more resilient in the future than if you start losing your mind. So so my answer is panic.
It's good. So we often teach that which we need to learn. When was the last time you almost got to panic?
Every day. No. Well, almost is the key word, right? Like almost very often, but I'd like to think I'm pretty good at practicing the don't panic button. Like over the years, especially, I've had many training moments, let's say, learning moments around like this is a catastrophe, and okay, here we go. Like, and it's never been a panic moment. I'm very focused on that.
That's good. And so then the last question then is, what's a question that I could ask my next guest that comes from you? And the idea that the quality of the question begets the quality of the answer. And everyone who knows, Artem is not prepared for this. Nobody said, oh, guess what? When you come to these interviews, make sure you come up with a question. This is on the fly.
On the fly. What is something that you would never allow AI to do for you?
Ooh, good question. I like that. How would you answer that?
That's not fair. Like I was thinking of a hard question that I know. And you're gonna.
Is there anything that jumps to mind? Let me put to that.
Never allow AI to do for me. I would say maybe make it personal. Like, actually, no, I don't know. I was gonna say like choose my partner or like who I'm dating, but now I'm thinking, I don't know. Maybe
that could be helpful.
It might be actually pretty good. Yeah, it's a hard question.
Have you seen Match.com lately?
I have not. Are they
No,
doing
nor
something?
have I, but I've heard about it. Obviously, there's sites out there that I'm sure use AI to help pair people up based on style and common
Yeah.
interests and so forth.
I mean, that whole concept I think is interesting because essentially it's AI kind of influencing the breeding of the human race. Like it's not
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
I would say, you know what? I'll say it like this: I would never let AI send my mom a happy birthday message. I would never do that.
That's good. That's good. Well, Artem, this has been really fascinating. Tell people how they can connect with you, your company, should they want to learn and know more.
We are Sembly AI, SEMBLY. So you can go to our website, semblyai.ai. There's free trials across all of our plans. You can check them out and see if they help you in your day-to-day. You can find me on LinkedIn, Artem Koren, ARTEM KOREN. And LinkedIn is probably the best way to connect with me. And I think that's pretty much it.
Good. Well, Artem, I'm really glad to meet you. I mean, as a customer of your product, I really like it and I learned a lot more. And hopefully the listeners did as well.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. If you found value in today's conversation, please take a moment to rate and review our show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps more people discover Leadervation and this kind of conversation. And if you're looking to strengthen leadership, culture, or team performance in your organization, you can learn more about working with me and Mission Facilitators International at mfileadership.com.